Good morning, everybody. It's me, Waddles, and in today's banger of a guide episode, we're gonna take on the dragon. And that's it. That's fully and wholly it for the intro today, lads. I mean, of course, I've got some tips and tricks for you that we'll talk about when we talk about them. But today it's all over. For good luck, smash that like button, and down below, comment what project I should take on first after we take on the dragon. Of course, other than, like, go find a better base and, you know, things like that. So, supplies. We gotta take a look at supplies before we head over to the end. A couple episodes back, we built this set of armor. This set of armor is going to be more than good enough for taking on the Ender Dragon. Like 2 episodes back specifically, we made these potions right here. 3 potions of slow falling. I think hopefully that's gonna be more than enough. Technically speaking, just about every single one of these supplies is optional. But when it comes to potions, I highly recommend getting at least the potion of slow falling. A couple other great potions to have could be night vision or invisibility. They might help big time. Oh, and I almost forgot, before we get too far into the episode, this is episode number 20. Usually I do world download every 5 or 10 episodes for channel members, but this episode, there's not going to be a download. For more info on that, tap the join button right next to subscribe, and I promise, it'll make more sense as to why we're going to do things that way next episode. You'll see. Now, it's actually kind of interesting. When it comes to taking on the dragon, of course, if you could get a good sword, like ideally even gooder than this one right here, well, that'd be whatever's better than good. When it comes to our enchanting luck in this world, look, I haven't had it the absolute worst in the world, but also I'm not expecting something insanely good. If I could see, like, a little bit of smite, maybe like smite 4. We'll go ahead and roll it over. I have a couple extra levels. If I could get smite 4, I could combine these swords together and get smite 5. Or alternatively, I could just take fire aspect 2. And wow, actually that's not bad. Not great for what I want to do today, but not bad. I think I'll disenchant it anyways. And sadly, it looks like that was a complete total and whole waste. Real quick though, while we're here, let's check out a helmet. Maybe we could finally complete the set of armor with the protection 3, unbreaking 3 helmet. I mean, it's a start. When taking on the Ender Dragon inside of your world, having a good sword is a great thing, but maybe even more importantly, get a good bow. And speaking of a good bow, oh baby, power 5, unbreaking 3 flame, and infinity. Jack Harbo, Meswe lad, you're gonna carry me through this dragon fight today. And for the most part, if we can just stay away from the dragon, it's gonna make our fight a whole lot easier. Another great thing to have is much better food than sweet berries. If you have something like steak or pork, then that's gonna be absolutely amazing. Chicken could do too. It all gets into the nitty-gritty details here, but long story short, different foods restore different amounts of hunger, but also different amounts of saturation. As you start to run around, jump, take damage, do things, your saturation is going to basically decrease. No offense to the sweet berries, but they're not great for today. Bring a couple stacks of extra blocks with you. Now sometimes, if you're unlucky, the dragon will send you into the air. If you can catch your fall just like that with water, you'll take 0 fall damage. Alternatively, a slow falling potion, baby. We're gonna grab a couple more ender pearls for the dragon fight. That'll help us do a dodge move. And then finally, is something that I actually don't have here. Hopefully I'll be able to find it on the way over to the dragon. Now today, as a nice little added bonus, I'm gonna show you a handy little trick that you could call bed cycling or bed bombing today. To pull that one off, we're gonna need a little bit of extra beds. If your hopes and dreams is to take out the dragon all the way with beds, then maybe get a couple more. If you just want to decrease its health real quick, then, like, to be honest, maybe 4 extra beds should be good. If you're gonna do this whole bed cycling stuff, you will need at least 1 block of obsidian as well. And so, my inventory, all of the supplies that I'm gonna bring with me to take on the dragon, is gonna look something like this right here. Minus 1 important thing that's really, to be honest, not that important. Gather these things, and then head off to your local stronghold. The maps. I need to take a second and figure this map out. Is this map the map with perhaps the stronghold on it? Because if it is, I want to bring it. Aha! It very well might be. Alright, let's do this. Flashback, rewind. In the last episode, we not only located the first stronghold of this world, but I also talked about some handy little tricks that might help you when finding the thing. We looted it, all of that kind of great stuff. Long story short, I found a stronghold, and it's like the best one ever. On my long journey back home last episode, I built something handy. Haha, well, look at this. I got a little fancy with the lilies over here. I got a fancy bridge cutting right over to the village that we found way earlier on, and even better. Whew, clean parkour. I cleared that boy. Yeah, that's really nice, but I think that's also maybe enough showing off for me. Oh, perfect timing. This thing right here. We're gonna go ahead and use shears on that, turn it into a jack-o'-lantern, and pick that up. Jack-o'-lantern, sweet friend, you're coming with me. And pumpkin seeds? I don't really need you right now, but you know what, fine. You can come with me too, whatever. Little life hack for you lads, if you didn't know, you can put a carved pumpkin on your head. It kind of ruins your whole FOV. You could remove it with a texture pack though. When the pumpkin is on your head, you can stare at Enderman all the morning, night, day long. They will never get mad at you. It's nice. Nah, but how could I? I haven't even introduced the main star of the show today. The Ender Dragon, aka Gene. Minecraft's first boss, and maybe potentially Minecraft's main boss. The main point of going to the end is, of course, meet the Ender Dragon, take it out, and open up the end for exploration, building, and maybe even more. The Ender Dragon fight, our boss battle today, is going to take place in an arena known as the Central End Island. The Central End Island has a handful of obsidian pillars with life regenerating crystals on top of it. Only these crystals don't regenerate our life, the dragon's life. We'll talk a little bit more about the specifics of the fight as we take on the fight. But long story short, as soon as we enter into the end dimension, the boss battle will begin immediately. We'll have a boss bar up at the top of the screen tracking the progress of the fight, and we'll have an evil dragon flying around in the sky trying to attack us the whole time. There's gonna be a couple different stages of the fight. After we take on the Ender Dragon, even more of Minecraft has opened up for us. There's cool new gear, cool new blocks, and a whole lot more to explore and talk about. Kind of beautifully, to be honest. Check out the map. The stronghold is actually definitely fully located on the second map right here. That's kind of awesome. But anyway, once you've eventually found your stronghold and are gearing up for the dragon fight, the very first thing you're going to want to do is, of course, locate the portal room. Instead of our stronghold here, we actually kind of got really lucky. The portal room is like straight off from the entrance by chance. Now, right before the portal room, not always, but usually, I find that there's this big open square room right here, or something like it nearby. Inside of this large, somewhat echoey, big, spacious room here, there's so much room for so much, including potentially, maybe, a small emergency base camp. Most importantly, with a bed that you lock your spawn at temporarily. Just in case anything terribly unfortunate happens inside of the end here, in a couple minutes, we're gonna have a bed set inside of this stronghold. Inside of this small little stronghold room here, I'm gonna drop a couple different supplies and basically some other things that I don't really need right now. Technically not necessary, but definitely a great idea. Just in case something bad happens, if the dragon takes us out, all of our stuff is gonna be thrown on the ground, as long as they don't fall into the void. If that is the case and my bed is right here, I could easily jump right back into the fight and pick all that stuff up. Maybe if I lose all of my stuff and I want to take on the dragon still, I have a little bit of extra supplies, so maybe like, I don't know, I guess make a sword or something. Really, to be honest, this isn't enough for that. But really, to be honest, that's not enough for that, and I don't plan for failure anyways. Now, the very next thing we need to do before we go to the end is situate the hotbar situation. On our hotbar right here, 100% have all of the weapons that you'll be using in the fight. Before we enter the end here, we're going to need to get the hotbar ready, but we're also going to need to get the portal itself ready. Over here, the portal. Right now, currently, it's not open. To open up the portal, we take Eye of Ender and place them in all of the open slots. When you find your portal, it could have multiple Eye of Ender, none, or maybe even almost all of them in here. All of them are in there right now, and it's wonderful. We get this ominous boot. Now this is open and ready to go. As soon as I jump into that, the fight begins. When I take on the Ender Dragon, I like to have my inventory looking a little bit something like this. The only reason the obsidian is right here, queued up next to the beds, is because of a little trick that I'm going to show you. It's potentially dangerous, but potentially really overpowered. Wait, what do you mean? Nervously stalling, talking about the inventory? No, it couldn't be me. Absolutely none. It's time, friends. Let's do this. When you're ready for the fight, walk up to the portal and jump in. As soon as you jump in, advancement, and you're going to be dropped on a platform. Now, this platform is going to be sitting somewhere. It might be floating out in the open, or if you're lucky like me, very fortunate, it will be closed in a small room. Immediately, what you need to start doing if you're in a small room is dig a staircase up. Hopefully, this staircase is going to go straight towards the center of the island. Mathematically, you're looking for 0, 0. Dead center of the fight is going to be 0, 0. So if you're worried about it, yeah, check out a coords. But, haha, typically I find when you jump into the end, you should be facing the center anyways. Alright, now, just in case we get swarmed or anything bad, I'm going to go ahead and leave that staircase alone and put a pillar right there. That's going to show me that if I need to run away, I can run away and hide there. Not that that's really going to do me much good, though. Immediately, as we enter the end, we have Endermen all over the place. We need to not look at them. We also have pillars, and sitting on top of the pillars, as you can kind of see over there, we've got crystals floating. Now, really quick here, I'm going to run over to the center of the island and set up for something big and dangerous. The whole time I'm running around, we're going to have an Ender Dragon in the sky, flying around. it will shoot fireballs at me and try and harm me. It's not great. To set up for a handy little bed move, we're gonna place a block of obsidian right there. These ones are technically not necessary, so I'll pull them out. To set up even more for this handy little trick, I'm gonna put a bed right there. But I'm not really gonna wanna trigger this bed until I start taking out the crystals. You see these crystals right here, when the dragon gets close to them, they're gonna regen this thing's health. And by the way, the health is at the top of the screen. The Ender Dragon's health is a total of what I believe is 200. Ender Dragon step number 1. You shoot it if you want, but more importantly, we need to take out the crystals at the top of these pillars. The whole time we try and do this, the dragon's gonna shoot this at us. It's called Dragon's Breath. If you were curious, watch what happens when I touch the Dragon Breath. Yeah, don't touch the Dragon Breath. If possible, for the majority of the dragon fight, to avoid being sent off the side of the island, which is into an endless void where you will lose all of your items, try and stay in between the crystals. Staying in between the crystals here, we're gonna wanna run around and try and dodge the dragon, keeping an eye on what it's doing. Currently just flying around and shooting balls of breath at me. We're gonna run around and take out every single crystal with our bow here, which, yeah, by the way, bow, very important for this fight. If we get our aiming just right, perfectly, the first time, kind of like that, we will take out a crystal seamlessly. Oh, it's beautiful. That's gonna do it? No? Okay, well, this is gonna do it. No, that's not gonna do it. That was a joke. That one's gonna do it. Okay, that's not gonna do it either. Hey, an Ender Pearl. Thank you. Yeah, so side note, one thing to keep in mind, this Dragon's Breath will not only damage you, but also damage Enderman. Use that knowledge to your advantage if you want. One dead giveaway is the dragon. When it gets close enough to a pillar, a beam will come out of it. That beam is basically the life regenerating force. From the looks of things, I think I'm just severely struggling with that pillar up there. Oh, I take it back. Haha. Alright, so at this point in the fight, I guess I got insanely lucky. The dragon really hasn't circled in the center and tried to land quite yet. That's one of the big things it's gonna do though, eventually. Every single time you move into the end, there will be a total of 2 crystals that are caged. You got a couple different options when it comes to taking out the caged crystals. In my opinion, the most handy way to take them out, you line yourself up with a corner, something like this, and then you shoot a shot right into the corner. Keep an eye on the dragon. It's doing nothing. You could pillar up to the top of these things, break a couple bars, but if you can get your shot just right, you can explode the crystals just like that. Piece of cake. Now look at this. The dragon is landing over towards the center. Really quick, I'm gonna move in here with all the crystals gone and tap that bed. You see that explosion? I just dealt a massive amount of damage to the dragon's health. That's huge health. When the dragon has landed in the middle, you need to be careful. If you want to deal damage, the bow's not gonna work anymore. You shoot at it all you want, but it's just immune to the bow. You need to get up close and hit it with your sword. To deal the most damage, hit its head. To dodge the dragon, move to the side. Alright, so just like that, the dragon sits in the middle for a little bit of time, or until you deal about 25 damage to it, and then it flies back into the air. Before it flies back into the air, it will charge you. If you could use Ender Pearls, or just maybe run to the side, you could get away from it. Oh, Gene, old Gene. At this point in the fight, I think I've taken out every single crystal, which means the dragon's health is stuck at what it's stuck at. I'm gonna go ahead and queue up in the center another bed for whenever Gene, the sweet Gene, he wants to come back to the middle, which is actually now. Now this little move that I'm doing right here is called bed cycling. If I can hit that bed as soon as the dragon's head is dead center, I'll deal the most damage to it. By hitting F3 and B on Java, I'll see all of its hit boxes. The head box, the most damaged one, is that small one. Now, if I wanted to, if I had a better sword, I would recommend slamming the head. Go over there, do crits and stuff, but the sword is not that great. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is drink the slow falling potion and check that. It sends me into the air, but because I have slow falling, no fall damage, ever. Jeansy, sweet Jeansy, what's wrong? You fly around, you're a little bit nervous, maybe embarrassed. You've never seen such a handsome lad, you say. Oh, that's too kind, really. But listen, your flattery is not going to stop me from eradicating your entire species. And look, kid, matter of fact, I'm gonna queue up the next bed, just to help me out, I'm sorry. If you bring potions with you to the end and you have empty bottles, use an empty bottle on this stuff to collect the dragon's breath. You could use it in potions. Ooh, nah, I didn't make it back over to the center soon enough. You don't really want to charge into the center and try and hit that bed. If you can't get into the middle before the dragon lands over there, don't try and run to the middle. If you touch the dragon, it'll deal a ton of damage. And to avoid the dragon, I have Ender. Ooh, just like that. Easy side move dodge. It's so nice. And so, dragon. When you're shooting your bow, it's same thing as when it's landing. If you can hit its head, you'll deal even more damage than if you hit its body. But if you hit its body, damage is damage. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, but because I didn't get this bed soon enough, I think the dragon just deleted it. Let's go ahead and wait for the dragon to get real close here. Oh, you broke it. Yeah, I'm too slow. I'm not really a speedrunner. Yeah, you see that bed trick? It's really beautiful, but maybe I need a little bit more practice. It'll deal a lot of damage, but I'm not really exactly a speedrunner. Bed cycling is a wonderful way to take out the dragon really quick, though. Super fast, too. Alright, so now with the dragon back in the skies, it's back to the bow for me. All we're gonna do is run around, try and stay near the middle, dodge the fireballs, and try and hit the dragon as many times as I can consecutively. Which, from the looks of things, is like 20 in a row right now. It's not bad. When the dragon starts circling over the center, it's gonna circle, kind of like do a dramatic landing sequence. That's your chance to really flood this thing with a ton of shots. Now look, you do you, but me, my track record is when I run up and try and smack the dragon in the head, that's when everything bad happens. Instead, I like to wait around near the side, maybe just line up with the dragon cleanly. It'll flap for a little while, then I throw a pearl and get away without any damage. You're too easy. It's kind of funny, you see, because the Ender Dragon is Minecraft's first boss fight, and maybe like the main one to be honest, but really, it's not that bad at all. I'm taking on this boss fight in hard difficulty. If you take it on at different difficulties, the dragon is gonna have, I think, different amounts of health, and maybe deal different damages too. Sweet Gene, we want to take it out. When we take out Gene will be gone forever until I resummon, which you can do as many times as you want. When we take out Gene eventually, though, we'll be rewarded with more experience than we could have ever dreamed of. Specifically from level 0, 68 levels worth. Haha, very funny. But even more beautifully, we'll get an item that we can only get from wonderful little Gene. So Ender Dragon, once you deal that final shot to the thing, piece of cake. Goodbye, Gene. I will miss you. All of a sudden, the thing's gonna float up to the middle and beautifully experience it rains down from the sky. You run around and pick it up, and if you're at level 0, you will rock it all the way up to level 68. So now, as soon as we take out the Ender Dragon, a couple things are gonna happen. Thing number 1, dragon egg, right up on the center. If I run up to this thing and punch it... Oh, no way. That wasn't meant to happen. If that happens, this is gonna go right back to world spawn. But usually, hold up. Instead of a completely different world, to show you what would usually happen here, when we take out the dragon, we get a dragon egg, front and center. When you hit the dragon egg in survival, mysteriously, it's kind of like an Enderman. It'll teleport away. The particles will give you a hint as to what direction it went. So from the looks of things, it looks like the egg teleported off in this general direction. It's now our job to run around and find it. Anyway, never mind, I lied. It must have went to like fire or something and then teleported again immediately. I don't know. Anyways, in 100% survival Minecraft, to pick up the dragon egg is pretty simple. Using a pickaxe, we're gonna dig this block out, and that block. Not the block the egg is sitting on. Then we're gonna put a torch right here, then we're gonna break this block. The egg will fall, hit the torch, and turn to an item. Now the egg is mine, and you get an advancement too. It's kinda nice. What does the egg do though? Ooh, that's a secret for another time. We'll talk about it later. A tip for another time, I didn't even get to talk about him, the carved pumpkin. If we go ahead and put this thing on my head, look at this. I can stare cleanly at the Enderman all day long, right at their eyes. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, I'm staring at them, and nothing's happening at all. Wait a second, what's that thing? So back inside of our world here, and something that we're absolutely not going to check out today. After we take out the dragon, for the first like 20 times, we're going to get an end gateway, that thing right there. To use the end gateway, we need to take an ender pearl and throw it clean into the portal looking thing in the middle right there. Or we'd use trapdoors to crawl into it. The end gateway is the gateway to the rest of the end, meaning like if we go into the gateway, we can start exploring and maybe looking for an elytra. Alternatively, did you know though, you don't even have to do that. From the center end island, which is coincidentally where we are right now, about 1,000 blocks straight out is going to be the rest of the end islands. Using Optifine, I can raise my render distance all the way to 64 chunks, and check this out. You can actually start to see the outer end islands. It's pretty sweet. Ender Dragon, that's it though. To take out old trusty Gene, that's all you need to do. Later on, when we feel like it, we'll definitely be talking about some other handy methods that you could use to take out old Gene, and definitely how to respawn Gene as well. When it comes to respawning Miss Gene, it's gonna involve basically like the crystals on top of the pillars. But like I said, we'll talk about it later. Before you leave the end for the very first time, I recommend grab the dragon egg, maybe collect up a little bit of endstone if you want to build with it, and locate your very first end gateway. Before you do anything else though, maybe it's time to head back home sweet home. To go home sweet home, jump into the portal, just like we kind of did to get here, and the credits are going to begin to roll. If we go ahead and hit the down arrow, or S, or hold down, I don't know. There's a way to speed up the credits, but this long dramatic story involves me, the player, and it gets a little bit sentimental, too emotional for today. Check it out in a different video. Now, when we go back into the portal, we're going to be sent back to wherever we set our spawn most recently. Which for us, if you did everything just like I did, it's going to be smack dab back center inside of the stronghold. So we'd bet you got to come with me. Now, we are 100%, because of the things that we found inside of the stronghold, going to be back over to this thing at a later date and point in time. For today, though, at this point, all we need to do is go find that dragon egg that I can't believe was sent back over to spawn. It's definitely not every day that the dragon egg is going to race you back to your trusty old base that you're about to abandon completely forever. Oh my god, it's actually kind of... The final thing that I want to take care of today, friends, before we wrap up the episode, is get back home sweet home, which is going to be approximately in this perfect direction. Get the dragon egg. And well, that's it. We've done it. We finished the first leg of the series. Early game is 100% officially over. And depending on your definition of it, we're in mid or maybe even early late game now. It's kind of beautiful. Anyways, emotions, that's enough of them for today. Now I'll meet you back over at home sweet home. While we make our long trek back home, today's comment of the day is a mind-blowingly genius one. Cram67 Cram, you absolute legend, you need to be hired by Mojang. A recipe book could make a good loot in a witch hut. This is all about the brewing stand. Imagine that concept. You go out into your world, you find a book, and then you add it to the workstation and it has all the knowledge. Like maybe for the crafting table, not so much, but for the furnace and definitely the brewing stand 100%. Please, 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 I'm begging. And finally, after a long and treacherous journey back home, it's home sweet home. Starter base, Bonzo, everything has changed. Very soon, we will be moving base here, Bonzo. We're gonna have a brand new mansion, a very fancy home. But first, there is something we need to take care of here at home. And also, the dragon egg. It's not likely that it will happen like it happened today, but if your dragon egg does happen to teleport right into the portal, it'll be sent right back to world spawn, which perfectly for me is the starter base. Then after that, once you go back to world spawn and find the thing, to actually pick it up, it's the same as it is in the end. We put a torch below it, we let it drop, and just like that, dragon egg and that clean advancement is now mine forever. Now you want to be careful with the dragon egg because when you place this thing down and hit it, it'll teleport away randomly. So maybe build like a trophy case or something cool for it. And then absolutely don't just like place it down randomly and lose it. There's only one inside of your world. And so the Ender Dragon, how to take it out, some tips and tricks, and also the very first leg of the series, early game Minecraft, that's how it's done. Next episode, I got a very special project planned in mind, so keep your eyes out for that. Smash like if you liked it, and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching this episode, and don't worry, the series is definitely not over. This is only the beginning, where things start to get a little bit more spicy. World download next episode, tap the join button for more information, and big shout out patron gang. Calais, Nick C, Arlo, aka Bobby, MinecraftMojo.com, and Steve M. Next up, check out last episode. It's been me, Waddles, and I will see you all tomorrow. Goodbye, friends.